Welcome to the Greenway with Mac, a channel dedicated to active transportation. Today we are in Porto, Portugal, and we are going to the beach. This video is the first of a two-part ride from Ponte de Dom Luís I, or Luís I Bridge, in Porto to Matosinhos, a small town on the Atlantic Ocean. The full ride is almost 7 miles each way, and here is the route from Strava. The section in Part 1 is 2.6 miles and is very flat once we exit the cobblestone streets of the old city. The start of our ride is on this pedestrianized promenade, with a couple exceptions like this guy. Locals are very proud of their bridges, which span the Douro River and touch down in Vila Nova de Gaia. In total, there are 6 bridges connecting these two cities, including one designed by Gustave Eiffel. The Dom Luís is often mistaken for Eiffel's design, but the major difference is that the Dom Luís has an extra connection just above the water level. The Eiffel-designed bridge, called the Maria Pia Bridge, used to run trains across it, but it is only currently used as a photo subject. Our final destination is Matosinhos, but the part covered in this video winds on and off street and in and out of trolley tracks to get us about 40% of the way there. I've separated this section because I can't recommend it for all users. Only riders comfortable riding in the street, and more dangerously, on active trolley tracks, should follow this route. Part 2 of this ride is much safer, and I can recommend it for most people. We rented our bikes at a shop around the corner to the right called North Road Rentals and Tours, and we had a great experience. We don't have our own path in this video, so we are navigating on the sidewalk. This section is probably safe to ride in the street, but there's a section up ahead where traffic can be moving pretty quickly, so I think it's unsafe to ride in the street the whole way. We absolutely loved visiting Porto. It is a beautiful mix of old and modern, and the hilly geography, together with the river, create unlimited places to sit and stare at its beauty. But one area that could be improved is their infrastructure for people outside of cars. The area where we started, and a few streets in the old town, restricted car usage. But there was a real lack of bike infrastructure. While I acknowledge that this is a hilly place, electric bikes and scooters go a long way towards flattening them. And as you'll see in this video, the precious land by the river is totally flat. Porto is Portugal's second largest city, with about 230,000 residents in the municipality, but over 1.7 million in the metro region. Porto was an important outpost of the Roman Empire. Prior to the Romans, the region was named for a Celtic deity named Calais, a name also linked to the modern-day Galicia. The Romans renamed it Portus Calais, or Port of Calais, in 136 BC. It is believed that the name Portugal derived from that Celtic Roman name Portus Calais. Unfortunately, when crossing the street, I turned off the camera, then didn't turn it back on when riding on the trolley tracks. I've added some photos to give you the idea, but the trolleys still run here. There should be room to move over if a trolley is coming. I know it's unconventional, but this was the route that the guy at the bike rental shop suggested. This is also the same section where cars can actually move at a high speed, so there's not a very safe option either way, so again, use your own discretion to navigate this half-mile stretch. The Douro River is the lifeblood of this part of Portugal. If you take it in the opposite direction, which you can on a boat tour, you'll eventually make it to the Douro Valley, where the grapes famously known for producing port wine are grown. Vila Nova de Gaia, or just Gaia, the town across the river from Porto, is actually where these port producers fortify the wine and open up their doors for tastings. The bridge in the distance is the Ponte da Alameda, and it's the last of the 6 bridges before the ocean. It was constructed in 1963 and is 890 feet long. At the time, it was the longest concrete arch bridge in the world. You can actually take a tour over the arched sections for about $20. The name for the Alameda Bridge comes from the Alameda escarpment. If you knew what escarpment meant, well, you're much smarter than me. It's what you call the steep slope that transitions from our level, down by the water, to the upper level where the bridge deck is. For the remaining section of Part 1, we have a path along the river. Traffic moves pretty slow along this section, so riders comfortable in the street can definitely do that. We did see plenty of riders in the road. I'm not sure what the alternatives for drivers are, but this road, unironically named Rua de Ouro, looks like a good candidate for the open streets treatment. This was a cool day in March, and there were a ton of walkers, bikers, fishermen, and runners enjoying the waterfront. I imagine this path would be even more popular as visitor numbers swell in the warmer months. Paris removed 40,000 cars in 2017 from their riverfront, and they haven't looked back. What do you think? Would the Golden Road live up to its name if it went car-free? I mentioned earlier that Porto has 6 bridges, but Portugal's biggest tragedy occurred on its first bridge, one that was originally built in the 900s. This bridge of boats, 20 barges that held wooden decking, allowed movement across the Douro. When Napoleon invaded Porto in March of 1809, residents tried to escape the invasion using the bridge to cross the river. The weight of all the people caused the bridge to collapse, and over 4,000 people lost their lives that day. The British helped Portugal eventually fend off the French and Spanish forces and remain an independent nation. In fact, the Anglo-Portuguese alliance from 1386, which politically links Portugal to the UK, is the oldest such alliance in the world still in effect. And this was observable on our visit, from the English names of the port houses across the river in Gaia, to the iconic red telephone booths, to the wide use of English across the region. The connection between these nations remains strong. The arched bridge is our landmark for dividing this route. Check out Part 2 if you want to see the rest of the journey to the Atlantic beach community of Matosinhos. In that one, we will pass by the Cheese Castle. Seriously, tap like and follow the link to see how it got its name.